Welcome to the True Northing podcast with Kristen and Allison. I realize I really love saying that. Saying True Northing, it actually feels like it really connects me. Saying that to why we're here feels really
I
good.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
True Northing podcast. And something that's been on my mind recently and probably forever since becoming a mom is finding the balance between priorities of care, whether it's for my children or myself or my work, my husband, my just all the different life demands and needs and wants, and just want to open up a conversation about that. I think this is something that a lot of mothers um, and parents come up against and bump bump up against is this constant stream of needs and demands, and which ones come first, which ones are most important, how do we know what's most important and most needed at the time. And especially in regards to what I've found is my personal self-care and prioritizing my children, but also currently building a business and really feeling this call from my soul and spirit to create this business, but then not wanting it to come at the cost of my family and my children. So, how do we find that right balance? And it's so personal to each one of us, but I thought we could talk about what it's been like for us or what we've witnessed or what we know inside ourselves.
Yeah, for someone like me, it's really difficult to split my attention when I'm going into something. I tend to go all in, and so if work is really busy or I'm really excited and energized by a work project, I have noticed I go all in on that, and then I go, "Oh, wait a minute, it's been a couple weeks, I've been pretty checked out, just not fully present with my kids, in the way that I want to be." And so then I kind of swing back the other way and go, "Okay, let me put the work down," or I don't say put the work down, I say, "Let me pull my attention a little bit away from work and give some of that attention back to my kids and be fully with them." But then it's like this overcompensation. And then suddenly I'm like, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't gotten any work done on my creative side projects. Right.
Yeah.
So for me personally, it is really hard. And I think probably for a lot of people to manage that split. And, we hear people say you can't give 100% to everything. You're
Mm,
really dividing the energy and dividing the attention.
mhm. Yeah, I think a lot of moms struggle with that. And this, especially, there's so many demands on mothers and so many expectations to do it all and to do 100% in every role, um, which, as you said, is just not how we function, not how we operate. But also, aside from the demands, we also might have just other things that we want to participate in, and finding the balance of those, or things that we want to prioritize, such as more social and relationship time or more personal care time, or time with our significant other. And it really is so interesting that it's such a struggle. And what I think about sometimes is like going back to like village life, or imagining like what village life is, and still in many places around the world. It's like social work and kids and family are like social work, kids and family are all integrated or seem more integrated. Like, if women are together, like, weaving baskets and talking while the kids play, right? Like, our lives have become so separate in a lot of ways that it makes sense that we would feel so divided and split and not really know how to integrate everything together because they're not integrated.
Mm. That makes sense, right, yeah. We drop our kids off with somebody else or to school, and we, for that time period, let go of their care and go into some other role, to our work or whatever our other responsibilities are.
Mhm.
And there is this, like, switching and this separateness between roles.
Mhm. And I do what you do too, I think, where, like, my focus goes really in on something, and then I'm like, "Oh, wait, like, how's my body doing?" You know? Like, "Oh, I haven't checked in that arena in a while." Um, and so I guess, like, everybody kind of finds their balance, but even so, maybe with that, you can't give yourself 100% to everything, like, it's just a natural split sometimes that we feel. Like, have you had a time that you felt like everything felt landed and you were giving your kids and your family enough attention and yourself and work? Or does it always kind of seem a little, um, something's being neglected?
For me, I think it rarely feels like everything is perfectly in balance. Yeah, it always feels like something is falling behind.
Hmm.
Like I'm either taking really good care of my body and my health and my wellness, and that's taking up a lot of my time and energy that I then am neglecting my work, or, it's some other order where I'm really feeling present with my kids and enjoying them, and that work project or the things on my to-do list are still there, but I just let them go, and then I'm falling behind on my other goals, the other things that are important to me.
Mhm. Something that I research is and really care about is women's mental health, and so I've talked about this before, but, like, women's mental health within the US is struggling a lot, majorly, and this conversation, like, just even within us talking, I'm feeling the weight of everything that women carry, and, just the complexity of it all, and that it's yeah, just the complexity, but also the magnitude of all the demands, but, maybe within that maybe within this acknowledgement, there's like a it's never gonna feel fully taken care of, and maybe there can be a breath with that,
Right,
like
day by day,
mhm,
week by week, minute by minute,
mhm,
season by season. There are
mhm,
some there are some months where I'm just on feel like I'm on fire at work
mhm,
and less present with my kids, and then there are some months where I'm super mom and I just feel like I'm doing all the things and enjoying my children so much and, doing less work,
mhm, mhm,
and I think there's a level of for me, there has to be a level of acceptance and just surrender to the flow, and where's my energy going right now? Where does it wanna go to kind of naturally? Or
mhm,
where does it need to be?
mhm,
Prioritizing, where the needs are for me or for the family or whatever that may be. I always think about something that Julia Roberts said in an interview, which was that her mom was always working outside of the house. Her job was very important to her. She was very ambitious. And, but she said something like, "My mom was always gone. She was always at work, but I never noticed."
Mm.
And so I think it comes back to that community piece where, I mean, of course, she wasn't always gone. You can't always be gone. But, a lot of the time she was not physically present. But when she was there, she really made it count. And the times that she wasn't there, there was the community, there was the support, there were the other people in the children's lives being with them and caring for their needs.
Mhm. That brings up such an interesting point and speaks to this vision or experience that I had doing Lacey Phillips' work on To Be Magnetic. And part of her process in this To Be Magnetic workshop that she had was to identify our what she called magnetic parents.
Mhm.
And so she would take us through this like meditation and visualization of what like the most kind of ideal image of parents were for us. And what was so surprising to me in my own visualization was that it wasn't that my parents, these magnetic imagined parents, were always there with me. There was this quality that was a felt sense that I had of love and attunement and presence when they were present, that it actually didn't matter if they were off working or went on a trip or, you know, socializing with friends. Like that was the most surprising part of it to me was that part didn't matter that they were always physically there. It was that I knew within myself that there was love and care and presence and that when they were with me, there was a deep sense of attunement.
Mm, right.
Yeah, it was fascinating. I was like, "Oh, it was fine that my parents, these imagined parents, worked full time."
Mhm.
You know, like, in my mind, it was like, "Oh, yeah, I'd want, like, stay-at-home parents and, this quantity kind of over quality," I guess, is the best way to describe what I thought it should be, and what it was actually was quality over quantity.
Right, even when my parents away, they're still with me
Yep.
because we're so connected. And when
Mhm.
we are physically together, they're looking me in the eyes and they're asking me questions and they're really attuned to what I'm experiencing. They're really there with me.
Mm. Mhm. When they're really there, and they
I
don't
love
have to
that.
be there all the time. Yeah, that really changed something for me, in my imagination of what a good parent looks like, at least for me. I mean, everybody can be different, but, it was unexpected and shifted how I felt about myself as a parent too, and what might be needed from me to show up.
Yeah, you're so right when you say that it's so complex.
Mm,
Just what we're kind of speaking to women, but parents experience in terms of the different roles and the way the expectations, the internal and external expectations for showing up in all the ways and giving 100% to everything, which is impossible.
mhm,
It's incredibly complex, it is. But
mhm,
what is really standing out to me right now is having that attunement and connection to everything you're doing, even when you can't be all in or can't,
mm,
or like with your kids, you can't be physically present, or with the work projects, you can't give it your all for that amount of time. You're still staying connected, and there's a level of self compassion and just allowing for the limits, understanding the limits,
mhm,
because a lot of it is the way that we judge ourselves for not showing up fully in all the ways all the time.
Right. Yeah, like, for whatever it is, "Oh, no, like, I haven't worked on my" I haven't been giving work my all, because like, my kids have been homesick, whatever it is, I haven't been giving my body my all because I'm working hard on, whatever it is. And just kind of realizing, as you mentioned earlier, like the seasons, the time, and it's almost like what is the need right now? What is requiring our like full presence and attunement while we still can stay connected to these other parts and pieces and balancing needs. And I somebody said to me once, like, one person's needs cannot come at the cost of another. And like this really interesting balance of needs. And so I think about that a lot of like, even between my kids, like, okay, one child's needs can't come at the cost of the other child's needs, right? Or my children's needs can't come at the cost of my needs, right? Or like, then broadening it out, like, okay, business can't come at the cost of family's needs. And, just like, how do we balance all the needs without one like swallowing the other?
Yeah, that makes a lot of
Balancing
sense.
needs, like, and it's a practice and it's attunement. It's really attunement to each moment and each thing and how it all kind of works together.
Well said.
Mhm.
You grappling with that in your own life right now? Well, you said kind of always, but I know you're
I
ramping up at work.
Yeah, and so I have always prioritized my children's needs. Um, and sometimes at the cost of my own care, which that's something that I've consistently evaluated and worked on and prioritized and learned to balance out. But yes, as this week is an especially full week with work, which I feel so excited and passionate about. But like this morning, I didn't drive my kids to school, and it's such like a silly little thing. But and there are days that I don't drive them to school, but being like, I've got a work meeting and I'm not driving them to school, or um, yeah, just not being available maybe as much, even psychically. My mind is being taken up by something else, or I was late to pick up one of my girls from one of their activities. Like I spaced on what time it was, which is really unlike me because my mind is occupied by other things. And I'm like, oh wow, yeah, they might be feeling it in some ways. That um, I have different things taking up the space in my mind a bit. And so I think it was just today noticing, like, oh, I wonder how that is for them. And oh, it's only this one week. And oh, I wonder if they think about it at all or if it's just me, like, and just kind of contemplating and wondering and like just thinking about the change. And that change is going to be continuous and how to balance that within myself because as I mentioned, this project in business is something I'm really excited about. Um, and also I have a strong value for being present with my family.
Do you share with your girls about what you're working on?
I do. Yeah, they know and they're cheering me on. It's really cute. It's really
Oh.
cute. And my eldest is a teen and I was like, "Hey, you could help, like, run the Pinterest board or something," and imagining if they wanted ways to kind of integrate them into, um, if there was a place for that. But I'm
I
like, "Hey,
love
what do you
that.
think of this?" And, it's fun.
Well, that sounds like that attunement and that connection.
Mm.
Just like, you think you have this wondering. You recognize for yourself, "Okay, I'm really busy this week, and I have my mind kind of all over the place or really focused on work, and I am a little distracted from parenthood this week, and I wonder if my girls are noticing." So you're having all of this happening inside of you, this wondering,
Mhm.
and then you're also, I imagine, checking in with them and sharing with them and expressing your wondering in a way like, "Hey, you also take up a lot of room in my heart and my mind. And even when I'm busy, I'm thinking about how that's affecting you. And how is that affecting you? And what are
Mm,
you noticing? And hey, this is what I'm working on. And this is something mom is really excited about." And then they get to get excited with you and they understand what's taking up the space or the time for you, right? And I
mhm,
love that. Yeah, you're just staying connected all the way through it rather than them just on their own feeling this disconnect or this shift and making up stories about
mm,
why that is or what, right? What's happening. And no, you're right there in it with them.
mhm. I think that piece that you brought up of, like, checking in with them, like, "Hey, I've been having these wonderings and feeling more space and time away, and how is that for you?" And, yeah, that check-in sounds good to me because if I'm feeling it, then it's in the field. And so, yeah, better to name it and wonder and ask questions and connect through that. And that brings up such an important point. Like, we can connect through the space, we can connect through the challenges, through those kind of conversations. Like, even though it is, even if you had your few weeks of like total attention off and towards, your work project, there's the ability to have those conversations about it. Like, "Hey, I'm super focused on this project, that I'm working on, and I've been really excited about it, but I know that I've been away, and, what's that like for you?" And just we can do that with our children, which is beautiful, and it's always available to just even name it. Naming is so liberating for children, for us, for the field, for the connection between us.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And so I'm curious, where are you right now? Like, what's present for you in like the pull or not? Are you feeling quite settled?
No, I would say right now it's a lot of internal work. So tuning into myself, a lot of time and energy working through some internal things that are shifting for me, which is pulling my energy and attention away from work and creativity and connecting with my family fully.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's the space I'm in. But I'm also finding little moments to connect with work, to connect with my kids. And that feels really good. It's almost like these little check-ins or, a touch base. Is that, can I use that in that way?
Mhm. Yeah.
Touching base. Um, yeah, touching base with my work project, touching base with my kids, like have like finding these little moments of energy where I just naturally go towards the different areas of my life.
Mm,
And that feels that feels fine.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like allowing for these different phases and seasons. It doesn't need to look the same all the time because there's different needs at different times.
And if I was forcing myself out of guilt to give more presence to my kids this week or last week, or give more time and energy to these work projects. If I was really forcing that for some reason, I know it wouldn't be as rich because my energy and what did you say? Like my psyche would
Mhm.
just not be available to that
Mm,
thing that I was actually maybe physically present for.
mm,
And so the work wouldn't be as good. I might be physically present with my kids, but my mind is really on these things that I'm dealing with internally. And so the quality would be lacking.
mhm,
It is. So back to what you said, quantity versus quality. And so instead, there is this surrendering and allowing for this season, which could be a day, could be a week, could be a month. I'm allowing myself to just fully be with wherever my energy needs to be
mhm,
while still maintaining little moments, little bursts of quality connection. So staying connected to the other areas of my life, not losing that completely.
mm. I love that. A key word that you said was guilt. I think that guilt is like the flag that goes up. It's
Mm,
like when there's guilt, that is like, we need to question, am I forcing myself to be somewhere, to show up somewhere, to, meet needs beyond what's in front of me and what's meant to be right here, right now. Um, guilt came up earlier in this conversation, but it's really like guilt for anything. Are we doing things from guilt or connection? Gosh, it's a
that is
biggie.
a big one. Mhm, for
Yeah,
sure. Well, this
thank
was a rich discussion.
mhm. Yeah.
Quality over quantity. There you have it.
Quality over quantity, connection over guilt.
Mhm.
Yeah, good, good. Love it. Thank
Love
you,
it.
everyone. Thank you, Kristen.
Yeah, see you next week.
Next week.